Good afternoon, y'all. Well, maybe it's not afternoon. It's still morning here. It's like 11 something in the morning. And I'm taking my daily walk. Probably going to do two because it's so nice outside, and I'm going to do one in the evening. But anyway, I'm coming to you guys with another story. This one is it's a funny story. Well, maybe not funny to the guy, but it was funny to me. But anyway, back in the day, this is way back yesteryear, before I was even married, I met this very handsome Haitian guy. I mean, he was like the textbook handsome for a man of color. He was tall, maybe like around 6'2". He had a chiseled jawline. He had a pretty smile. He had deep set eyes. He was just a very handsome man. And I met him at another Haitian friend of mine. She had a barbecue, a backyard party. So I met him there. So he showed interest in me. When I first saw him, I was like, oh, this is just like another handsome guy. But anyway, make long story short, after the initial encounter, he came back to me some hours later and he asked, can he have my number? So I said, sure. So we exchanged numbers, and then we started to talk on the phone or whatever like that. So this is back in the day. So this is I would say I got my first cell phone in the early 2000s. I mean, I don't know. I had a cell phone, mobile phone for so many decades now, but this was back in the 90s. So we didn't have any cell phones. So people used to have to call you on your landline. So anyway, we were talking and stuff like that, and he seemed okay. He seemed nice. He was a couple years older than me. He was already he was in college, and then I think he was working, trying to do mechanical engineering. That's what he was doing. And he was working with his uncle at the time at his uncle's shop. So we talked, and he seemed interesting. So he had said that he wanted to take me to a Haitian restaurant. And I said, that's cool. I don't mind. I've eaten Haitian food before, but I've never eaten it from a restaurant. I've usually eaten it from the friends, friends who's cooked it, or their moms or dads who had cooked it. And it was always good. But one thing I have to always be careful of is that I do have allergies. And one thing that I'm allergic to is seafood. So he told me about this particular Haitian dish that he wanted to introduce me to. So I asked him, what did it have in it? And he was like, it has this, 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 and it has this type of fish. I said, hold on one second. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to eat that. He goes, why? He's like, you don't like Haitian food? I was like, no, this has nothing to do with me not liking Haitian food. I said, I am allergic to seafood. Not just crawfish or, all those things that people eat like shrimp and lobster, like shellfish. I'm allergic to it, all of it, regular fish as well. So I won't be able to eat that. And he was like, no, you'll be able to eat it. And I said, no, I won't be able to eat it. He goes, yeah, you'll be able to eat it. Oh, look at these sunflowers. So pretty. He goes, no, you'll be able to eat it. And I go, no, I actually won't be able to eat it. And he goes, yeah, you will. And I said, no, I won't. I'm allergic to it. So he says, no, you don't understand. You'll be able to eat it. And we're going back and forth with this exchange. And I'm like, no, I won't be able to eat it because I'm allergic to it. He said, so what do you mean by that? I said, I'm allergic to it. It'll make me sick. I can have itching, swelling, all types of reactions. Things can happen that can even, be bad. It could get worse than that. I said, I have to keep an inhaler or whatever like that with me all the time in case I run into something or cross-contamination. That's why I am very particular at where I eat and who I eat from. So he goes, no, nothing is going to happen to you. The reason why those things have been happening to you is because whoever prepared you that food, they didn't do it right. But when I cook it, it's not going to be any issues. I said, no, you don't understand. I am allergic to seafood. It has absolutely nothing to do with how it has been prepared. I said, I am allergic to it. My body doesn't agree with it. He said, no. It's not that your body doesn't agree with it. Your body didn't agree with the way they prepared it. But when I prepare it, it's not going to be any issue. You're going to love it. Sorry for the wind, you guys. It's very windy. So after he said that, I was just really quiet on the phone. Really, really quiet. Really, really quiet. I'm just like thinking, just thinking and pondering. Because we were going back and forth with this for maybe about 10 minutes about me being allergic. And him saying, no, I'm not allergic. It's because the food wasn't prepared right. Like, he had no comprehension on what an allergy was, even though I tried to explain it to him so many times of what it actually means to be allergic to a substance when your body doesn't agree with it. He just didn't get it. So we hung up the phone. And it was that day that I decided that regardless of how handsome he was, it was not going to work. Not saying this man was my future husband. Obviously, he's not, because I married someone else. But not even saying that this was going to be anything great long-term or anything like that. But if there was any chance that anything was going to happen, it wasn't going to happen after that. So I put in my mind that I'm done. I'm just done with him. I'm not explaining why. I'm just done. I'm not answering any more of his calls. Nothing. If he comes over, I just won't answer the door. We're just done. Because that level of ignorance, I just can't tolerate it. I mean, like, we were back and forth, right? So I was like, if that's who you are, it ain't gonna work. Because one thing, I love an intelligent man. And I love a very smart person. I'm not saying that he wasn't dumb. I don't believe that. I mean, I'm not saying he was dumb. I don't believe that he was dumb or anything like that. It's just that he was not for me. Because that level of ignorance, it just wasn't going to work. Can you imagine if I had continued with that relationship and he literally tried to maybe prepare me something with fish or shrimp or something like that and try to disguise it as something else, thinking that, oh, she's going to be okay. She's going to love it because it's the way I prepared it. And I'll be wound up in the ER. No, we're not going to do it. So after some time, he called and he would call and he would call. And I think I did pick up his call one time and I was like very uninterested in the phone call. But I don't think I didn't tell him that, like, why. You know, he could kind of see, like, you know, like I was just like kind of like nonchalant, whatever. So I did take his call one time after that, but then I just stopped taking his calls. He would call. And I just wouldn't answer. And it went on for like, I want to say it went on for like maybe like 2 months because like the guy was handsome. I am sure I wasn't the only lady at the time that he was talking to. You know, he was a very handsome guy and I'm sure he could have his pick of women anywhere. So it wasn't like he was going to beg and chase me forever. But he did call me for like months. I'm going to say about 2 or 3 months, right? He did call me for that long. And I just would not answer him. I just wouldn't answer the phone. Lo and behold, about a year later, this acquaintance of mine, I ran into her at the mall. And she tells me that she is talking to a guy who says that he knows me. And I'm thinking, like, how would anyone, like me and her, we're just acquaintances and we don't hang out. So how would anyone that she's talking to a whole year or so later know me? But it's a small world, right? That's why you gotta be careful what you do and what you don't do, because the world is very small. I think they say 6 degrees of separation. Somebody that you know knows somebody that you know knows somebody. Everybody's connected in some way, shape, or form. That's what they say. But anyway, so she had said that one day when they were out and they saw me a day when I was out, and he said that he knew me and he told her a story. I said, oh, okay. You know, I know that guy, whatever like that. I talked to him briefly, short time, you know, nothing serious or whatever. She goes, He told me how hard you took it. I said, how hard I took what? She said, the breakup. I said, what breakup? We weren't even serious. We didn't have anything going that was serious. We went out a few times. We talked on the phone. That's what we did. She was like, he told me that you were so distraught when he decided to break up with you. You know, he told you that, you know, it wasn't you, it was him. You just weren't the type of person he was looking for, even though you was a nice girl, whatever. You just weren't for him. He said, you took it so hard. He said, even to the point where he had to call the cops on you. I said, he had to call the cops on me. She said, yes. He told me that you came to his house one evening. You showed up. You got out of a taxi and you came to his door with a trench coat on. And underneath the trench coat, you were butt naked, begging for him to have you come into the house. And he said it got so out of hand that he just had to call the cops. And then when you knew that the cops were coming, you left. My mouth, my jaw dropped. And I did not even have words. So let me tell y'all something. I'm one of them people, I let people believe whatever they want to believe. The only time I'm going to defend myself is in a court of law. Other than that, you could believe whatever you want to believe. I did not even dignify it with the response. Like I said, I was not going to defend myself to somebody that at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. And I'm just thinking that the male ego, in some cases, has to be so fragile. What would possess you to concoct a story like that? He must have felt some type of way because I was the one that dismissed him and he was not the one who dismissed me. Oh, well, you should have knew what an allergy was, my brother.